Welcome to Building Texas with Justin McKenzie and Summer Bobarek. Sponsored by the Boerne County Economic Development Corporation and Das GreenHaus. And now, here's your host, Justin McKenzie.
Welcome to Building Texas on Boerne Radio 103.9 FM. My name's Justin McKenzie, and today we're talking about preparing students for the world. Students from all walks of life who come together around an acronym, OCP, Opportunity, Community, and Purpose. And they serve in an organization whose vision statement is developing leaders of character. Chief Goldstrom shares how high school students are earning their private pilot's license, learning to serve, and being engaged leaders. These experiences give every student insight into discipline and mentorship. They take on many roles to support their group staff, and students become CyberPatriots, public relations specialists, and even pilots. These programs are creating a bright future here in Boerne and the future leaders of Texas. We're going to spend the next few minutes talking to Chief Goldstrom, who leads this team of 106 to 112 cadets and has really played an active role in bringing this kind of curriculum and these opportunities to Boerne ISD. So, Chief, thank you for joining us today.
No, fantastic, Justin. It's great to be here with you and your listeners. I think you'll have the opportunity to hear from some of our cadets today. We've got 106 currently in our program, projected for 112 next year. It's truly an honor and a blessing to serve in this role for them.
That's fantastic. And we're sitting in the office at Das GreenHaus. We've got cadets that are wearing polos with the logo on it, and you're in a full uniform. Mm-hmm. Help me understand, how did you get to this seat today?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got to take you back actually to 1989 to really give you the full stories. In high school, along with a number of other things, I was involved in our Naval Junior ROTC program. And for me in high school, it set a foundation and it set a path for me that something I've been able to enjoy up to this day. So after 4 years in junior ROTC in high school, enlisted in the United States Air Force, I recently retired earlier this year after a 30-year career. And knew that when I retired from the military, I was looking at a number of different things to do in my civilian life after the military. And I felt a draw and a pull to come back and be junior ROTC instructor. And a lot of my friends do this. They really enjoy it. So was looking at opportunities, and the Boerne unit came available. So through a network of friends, had heard about the vacancy, had a mutual friend that I was able to connect with and learn a little bit about my current teammate, Colonel Mike Colvard, who's just a fantastic individual. I get to do this with him every day. He's been doing this for 3 years and just retired after 35 years, but got to find out through a friend just the outstanding leader that he is. And we had the chance to meet over coffee before the interview and was just fortunate enough to be selected for this positions.
Now, we talked about this beforehand, but there is a requirement to be this leader. You have to have served, and it currently is a retiree is eligible for the role. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So most programs are going to have what we call the SASE, a senior aerospace science instructor, and then an aerospace science instructor. The SASE is usually a retired officer, and the aerospace science instructor is usually an enlisted member. So that's the current setup that we have. The requirements to become an instructor are that you have to be maintain a positive military image, be physically fit. We do yearly height and weight checks. The requirements are retired status as you come back. So I'm currently not on active duty, and neither is Colonel Colvard. The Air Force did just change some of the requirements, so they will be opening up some of these instructor opportunities to veterans. I do believe the minimum rank requirement on the enlisted side will have to be an E6. In the Air Force, it's a technical sergeant. But you have to continue to have the proper military image, maintain high weight standards, things like that.
Now, beforehand, we were also talking about really the purpose of JROTC, and it's not a recruitment track. And I thought that was really compelling, that just because you signed up doesn't mean you signed up to serve forever.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
an experience. It's a way to learn it and decide if that's for you.
Absolutely. So, and you hit it, Justin. So we are not in a session pathway for the military. Now, when you do have two recent instructors that are retirees from the military, we will certainly talk to our cadets if they're interested. What we are is a citizenship program, and our motto is to develop leaders of character. So essentially, in a lot of ways, we're teaching young people how to just be good people and members of their community and to be involved in the community, especially in a community like Boerne. Just to have the opportunity for our students to go out and give back any of the organizations here in Boerne and their talent, which is most important.
Because similar to National Honor Society, there would be a volunteer community service hour requirement as part of this, or is it just really going out and volunteering?
There are two factors to that. So one, you want to volunteer just because it's the right thing to do. Now, we do set a goal at the beginning of the year. Each of our senior staff, our cadet staffs, will set a goal. And this year it was for each of our cadets to accumulate 12 hours of community service. That gets us over the goal of 12,000 for the year and puts us in a category to compete for a Distinguished Unit Award from Headquarters Junior ROTC.
That's fantastic. And the other part of this is we have two high schools. So Boerne ISD has Boerne High School and Champion High School. And in all of these programs, I think about Incubator EDU, they lean heavy towards Champion. But I want to encourage the Boerne parents and the Boerne students to know that these are opportunities for both sets of high schools, for all students. As we grow those programs, what's the next growth threshold for additional staff or additional support for the unit?
Absolutely, Justin. So currently our current student makeup is made about 70% Champion students, 30% Boerne students. We recently had a meeting with the head of our department and let them know that we are open. We would be willing to give up our conference periods to build more classes, get more cadets in the classroom to grow our program. So you asked about our goal. Our goal is we're currently at 106, projected to be at 112 next year with a goal of hitting 150. Once we hit 150 cadets, we can hire on a third instructor and open up more programs within Air Force Junior ROTC. So currently we have 3 different drill teams: unarmed drill team, armed drill team, color guards, both male and female. We have a CyberPatriot team that just placed 4th in the nation in a national competition. We have physical fitness and Raider teams that cadets can join, and then a JLab team, which is they participate in academic bowls. So they'll go in and they'll take tests, answer various questions, and compete in an academic environment. The next 2 programs we look to bring on are our Marksmanship program, which we're projected to bring on our next year, and a drone program is another program that we're looking at. I'd like to quickly go back to what our charter is, why we're here. So as I mentioned, we're here to develop leaders of character, but what I also share with a lot of our students and our cadets and students in our high schools is the opportunity, the community, and the purpose of what Junior ROTC is. And it's a simple acronym called OCP. And it's not just the uniform that I wear. The uniform I'm wearing right now is called the Operational Camouflage Pattern. But OCP stands for Opportunity, Community, and Purpose. For a lot of our students that you've heard from today already, they shared with you the opportunities that were made available to them through our program. The thing I love about our community within our organization is we encompass all grades. So I've got sitting to my right a freshman cadet, Ava Madiak, who transferred to us from Georgia. She's a freshman, and she's fully integrated and works with the senior that's sitting to my left, and Cadet Ella Steppen. And together, all grade levels get the opportunity to work with each other. And then finally, purpose. We spend a lot of time talking about our why. Why are you doing this? When a cadet comes to my office and they ask me, I don't know what I want to do after high school, I don't know what I want to do after college, the question I will often ask them is, well, what problem do you want to solve? And once we identify what problem they want to solve, we'll push them in that direction. So opportunity, community, and purpose really is, at least for me, what we try to teach our kids. But the motto is developing leaders of character.
You know, we were talking to the cadets before this conversation, and a lot of them have had really unique opportunities in aviation. And it's something I've pursued as a student pilot. It's an expensive hobby, but they've had opportunities to go get their private pilot in high school paid for by other organizations. Is that common? Is aviation a big track for the Air Force JROTC?
So it is part of our curriculum. So between Colonel Mike Cobart and I, we have 4 primary pillars within our curriculum. So Colonel Covard will teach aerospace and space science, space exploration and aerospace science. I teach leadership and wellness, and then together we teach fitness. So those are the 4 primary pillars of our program. So aviation is part of that. Headquarters Junior ROTC and organizations like the Daedalians will award scholarships for flight academies. So for example, Lauren Ortiz, who you heard from earlier, was recently accepted to the Junior ROTC Flight Academy, which she will go to Indiana Wesleyan University this summer. Will be there for 2 months, and she will graduate with her private pilot certification. 2 of our other cadets, Jack Osborne and Noah Hernandez, earned Daedalian scholarships where they were able to complete their first solo, and they're currently in the hours phase, accumulating hours for their private pilot certification. And lastly, we were fortunate enough to receive a grant from the Boerne Education Foundation for a $10,000 GLIM aviation flight simulator, which we have in our classroom. And cadets can log on to that thing. They can learn how to fly the basic principles of aviation. And then when they get to a certain point, can actually log FAA hours through our flight simulator.
That's incredible because it does open up a whole new world for somebody that may not have that opportunity traditionally to get involved with a large group of students, share a passion for service, and then get exposure to things like aviation. The other thing that you mentioned was the CyberPatriot. And I know Boerne ISD has the PTech program around cybersecurity, and we've really made that a focus for the school district. What is the CyberPatriot program, and how can kids get involved in that?
Fantastic question. The CyberPatriot program, very similar to PTech. They will compete in competitions. They will compete with schools and against schools across the nation in a virtual environment where they will defend cyber networks. They will try to identify malicious logic, try to isolate and remove that software in a virtual environment as part of a competition.
That's incredible. Well, as we go into the break, I want to remind our listeners that they're listening to a conversation with Chief Goldstrom about the AF, the Air Force Junior ROTC. He's going to tell us what the rest of that acronym stands for when we come back. But the entrepreneurial journey that this is, and post-service, what does that look like for you? When we come back from the break, we'll dive into that. This week, Building Texas is proud to highlight an AFJROTC cadet and everything they're experiencing through the ROTC program at Boerne ISD.
I'm Lauren Ortiz. I'm the new command chief at the Boerne AFJROTC. This is my first year as a Boerne AFJROTC cadet. The reason I joined is I saw my sister doing this program and she was getting so many opportunities, and I really wanted to reach out and do something new. I was able to get a full ride scholarship to get my private pilot's license by the end of this summer. I've been able to make new friends and be a part of a new community. JROTC has been one of the most amazing experiences of my life. I've become more set on my goals, more hardworking. Being in this program and being able to apply for these opportunities and being able to actually achieve them was something that was kind of like a light coming into my life.
This is Justin McKenzie from Building Texas. Today's segment is brought to you by GreenHaus. GreenHaus is a business incubator launched here in Boerne to serve our local community. GreenHaus is a place where you can come to grow your idea. Our goal is to make Boerne accessible to people who are looking to grow a business, expand a business, or learn more about what's out there in their community and get involved. Visit us at dasgreenhaus.org or come visit us at 7 Upper Balcones Road, Boerne, Texas. Das GreenHaus. You're listening to Building Texas on Boerne Radio 103.9 FM. Thank you for joining us today and having a conversation with Chief Goldstrom from the Boerne ISD Air Force Junior ROTC. And you can help me with what ROTC stands for.
Absolutely. So ROTC and all junior ROTCs in high school have the same last letters of the acronym as the same. It's Reserve Officers Training Corps. So junior ROTC is what you will find at the high school level. At the college level, for our cadets or really any student that has a goal to potentially commission in the United States military, they will go to a university or what we might call the senior ROTC program. Some usually on a scholarship, some you can go ahead and pay tuition for that course, but most will go by scholarship. So Reserve Officer Training Corps or Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps. Each of the services has their own junior ROTC format. So as I shared earlier, I actually came up through a Naval Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps. The Space Force has a couple of schools. The Marine Corps has junior ROTC program. Obviously the Army and the Navy as well.
So let's talk a little bit more about your journey, because it is an entrepreneurial jump out of the military, and everything that I've seen, that is a difficult transition. What do you want to do? How did you find yourself working with kids back in the school district, and where do you see yourself going from here?
So I'm the oldest son to 2 U.S. immigrants. Dad's from Argentina, my mom is from Cuba, and they both immigrated to the United States in the late 60s, early 70s, had me in 1975, and we grew up in Los Angeles, California. As sometimes in most immigrant families do, we struggled for a little while. Actually found ourselves homeless for a brief period of time. Through that, after the family was able to reestablish themselves, I knew I needed structure in my life. I knew I needed discipline, and there was a sense of belonging that I was looking for. So at first, Junior ROTC gave that to me. Junior ROTC in high school, Chaparral High School in Las Vegas, Nevada. And then when I came up on graduating from high school, my grades weren't quite college ready. You know, we didn't have the money to pay for tuition or things like that. So the military provided a great opportunity to not only learn a skill, learn a trade, start a career, but also was able to earn my undergraduate degree, graduate degree, a couple professional certifications through the different programs that the military offers. I had a wonderful military career. I was able to meet my best friend, the love of my life, my wife, Mary. We've just celebrated 24 years of marriage. And our son, Caleb, who's now 17, was born into this. In retirement, as I mentioned earlier, I was looking at a number of different opportunities, but something pulled me to education. I'd always wanted to teach. I knew in the military it was the one thing that I knew I was really good at. Building a team, surrounding myself with individuals, building a team, and then towards it an objective or a goal. So in the classroom environment seemed like it was something that I really wanted to get back into. And then working with these outstanding young men and women, the people that know me well will tell you when I talk about these kids and when I talk about our program, I just have this huge smile on my face. My eyes light up. One of our cadets has told me that they certainly appreciate the enthusiasm that I've been able to bring to this opportunity. And that means a lot to me when I hear that, because I do enjoy this quite a bit. As far as what's next, I'll tell you, this is where I want to be. This is exactly what I want to be doing. It's meaningful work. I'm thankful to the Boerne School District for allowing me to be here. I appreciate Champion High School and Boerne High School allowing Colonel Kovar and I to be here in these capacities and to work with these outstanding young men and women.
How do parents find out about this if they weren't military previously? Where would they go and how would they get involved to show this opportunity? Because I think in especially 8th and 9th grade, you're transitioning, you're looking at extracurriculars. This may not have been offered in middle school at the same way. So how would you bring that to the forefront and find the parents that want their kids to maybe have a different experience? Absolutely.
So first, I will go ahead and point out, we do have a program website. It's Boerne AFJROTC, so BOERNE AFJROTC.com. On there, you can find information about our program, our cadet guide, our schedule. There's a page in there where individuals can go in and request a service from our program, a color guard or something like that. But taking it a few steps back, so our rising 9th graders, through their 8th grade course selection, going into 9th grade, they have the opportunity to enroll in our program. We as a program made an effort, especially this last year, and we've definitely seen some fruits and some benefits from it. We visited each middle school, each of our feeder middle schools twice this year, to where we are projecting 55 incoming freshmen into our program next year, which is building on the freshman class that we've had just this past year, which has been outstanding. So again, that's part of our growth mindset that we have in trying to get to that 150 mark. We are supported by an amazing booster club with amazing parents, some that I know you've spoken to in the past. They are just a great source of support, not just for the instructors, but for the kids. And really, that's why they're there, is for our students. So, and I know that a lot of that is word of mouth. You've got Lauren, who joined because of her sister. As a great example, we hope to bring in Ella's sister a little bit later on here in a few years. Some of it's word of mouth. A lot of it is our active process as part of the enrollment, visiting the middle schools, and then we have a website where potential students and parents can visit in BoerneAFJROTC.com.
Do you lead with, we have a flight simulator and you can learn how to fly airplanes?
Yes. So we just shot a video for that we intend to use as part of our marketing and recruitment platform.
What I enjoy about it, even sitting in here, you have a public affairs person taking pictures and documenting this.
Yeah.
I imagine you have other roles.
We do.
Where the students are really finding what lights them up, what they enjoy doing.
That's a great observation, Justin. So we are an academic extracurricular program. We are a high school class, first and foremost. But what Colonel Kovar and I have worked to do, and this is part of the principles of Junior ROTC, is we have taken our program and shaped it where an Air Force veteran would recognize a group staff, and they would recognize squadrons, and they would recognize certain roles within the organization. So, for example, you mentioned Ava, who is our public affairs officer. She manages our photos, our Instagram page. She puts out a newsletter called The Spark. We've got our cadet command chiefs, outgoing and incoming, and their job is to advise the corps commander, who you've also met in Jack and Noah. And together they create teams. And we recently had a change of command ceremony where they were read a charge. And that charge captures simple things like wearing the uniform properly, but it also captures things of being observant, being able to observe and identify negative morale trends where we trust our students. So I failed to mention that earlier. We are a cadet-led, cadet-run, cadet-focused organization. So Colonel Kovar and I, we do see ourselves as coaches. We do give the students left and right boundaries, but it's really the cadet leadership teams that will execute the different requests that are made of them. Colonel Kovar and I will typically ask especially our Foxtrot flight or our senior class, says, hey, this is something that we have to do. We have a drill competition coming up, or we would like you to write some promotion tests. We give them the left and right boundaries for that, and they go out and they execute it. And oftentimes, it's the basic leadership principle of who's in charge, what's the plan, and how do we follow up, right? So the students are the ones in charge. We help them devise the plan, or we'll give them the left and right boundaries for their plan, and then we'll follow up. We'll give them what we call a suspense date or a due by date, and check back with them at that time.
And just like sports, there's competitions in this space as well. Mm-hmm. So you've been successful competing on certain levels. Let's talk about where's Boerne ISD visible statewide because of your program.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do compete in a number of competitions, both local and national. So I mentioned earlier the CyberPatriot competition where we competed in a national competition. We also do local competitions as well. Actually, this Saturday, we will be at O'Connor High School in Helotes, Texas, competing in what considered the state competition for junior ROTC from a drill standpoint and a physical fitness standpoint. So we'll be out there this Saturday competing, doing our best. We've got a streak for the last 3 years. Every competition that we've gone to, we've placed in at least one category. So we're definitely hoping to keep that streak going this Saturday.
I guess as we continue through this journey, I want to remind people that you're not recruiting for the Air Force. Mm-hmm. It is an opportunity to really come in, explore leadership, civics, understanding how to be a good citizen in your community. But then the hope is that you'll find roles that you find a lot of excitement around, whether that's going straight into the military out of high school or going into programs, university. The military does offer a level of stability for a lot of students that I don't think we share enough of. Mm-hmm. You talked about, and thank you for sharing your journey, because that is a reality for more people than we realize. And in that time period, the military was a great option. It still is today, Absolutely. But I don't know that we say it out loud enough.
So Justin, I feel like almost you might have looked at my biography prior to coming in here. So the last job that I had in the Air Force was the command chief of the Air Force Recruiting Service. And we've spent the last couple of years discussing that very issue, that very challenge. For the services, recruiting has been a challenge. Just last year, with the exception of the Marine Corps, all of the services missed their enlistment recruiting marks, that being the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. This year is looking a little bit better for them, but that is one thing that we talked about was our youth. So our target demographic of 17 and 23-year-olds, and you're taking me back to my old active duty days, so some of the data might have changed since then. But the target demographic of 17 to 24-year-olds, only 23% can serve without a waiver. So that means 77% of our youth need a waiver to serve. Now, that can be any number of things. It could be a medical history. It could be medication. It could be challenges earlier in their lives. But I know that they've worked very, very hard to stay in touch with and attuned to that target demographic and people that they want to bring in. But to your point, Justin, I mean, at least for me and people that have served with me, or I've had the privilege of serving with, the Air Force, the military in general, was a fantastic option for a lot of the different reasons that you already mentioned.
We have a number of entrepreneurs here in the building that have come out of the military at different stages in their careers. And for an entrepreneur, the military background affords so many opportunities that you have the leadership experience, you have a global network of people, just because that's how that works out. Mm-hmm. But then you have funding opportunities, you have VA loans, you have other tools and TRICARE and other safety nets when you've served throughout that career, that when you go into a second career, you have more options than you thought you would have. I want to share that with high school students to say the military is a great track because it does open up new doors that you won't think about until you're in your mid-40s trying to decide what does the next phase of life look like. And having the stability and the backing and just the experience of the military can go a really long way.
Yeah, so two things, Justin. One, I know your audience is primarily an entrepreneurial audience. And I know one of your previous podcasts, if you look in your podcast library, I know you had the opportunity to talk with Andy and Missy Ivankovich, and they got a fantastic story. Andy being an Air Force veteran himself, working at USAA, and just being very fortunate through talent and skill for them to be able to do the things that they do. So just a fantastic podcast you did with them. But you're absolutely right. The Air Force does provide a lot of great opportunities. So again, my son, he will go to college with my post 9/11 GI Bill because I was able to earn my degrees through my active duty time and using tuition assistance. My son will enjoy that GI Bill with his undergraduate degree being largely taken care of. You mentioned VA benefits. So having been a recent retiree, I'm well attuned and learning every day about the Veterans Administration and the outstanding programs that they have. You talked about the VA home loan. My wife and I are proud homeowners now for 2 years. The first home we ever bought together, and that VA loan resource was definitely something that we use. So yes, absolutely. Lots of great resources, especially in Texas. Texas has, from what I've observed, the best veteran care than I've seen anywhere else.
Well, Chief Goldstrom, it's been a pleasure to have you in today to share the story, to bring more attention to the program at Boerne ISD and the great work that's happening in schools across Texas, where leaders like yourself come and give back and create the future leaders that we're going to see 20 years from now. So thank you for spending time with us today, and thank you for the way that you're building Texas.
Now, thank you so much, Justin. And I'll tell you to your listeners, thank you so much for taking time to visit with us today. Hopefully you got a chance to learn from our students, and they're just amazing. Just amazed at the opportunity that we have every day to work with them. So thank you to you and your listeners for having us today.
This is Justin McKenzie from Building Texas. Today's segment is brought to you by GreenHaus. GreenHaus is a business incubator launched here in Boerne to serve our local community. GreenHaus is a place where you can come to grow your idea. Our goal is to make Boerne accessible to people who are looking to grow a business, expand a business, or learn more about what's out there in their community and get involved. Visit us at dasgreenhaus.org or come visit us at 7 Upper Balcones Road, Boerne, Texas. Das GreenHaus.